let's have a look at what the bowlers have done this season. And if we talk about the highest wicket takers, remember early on the first few shows, how we said class fast bowlers are doing the job. Nothing's changed 13 or 14 matches in. Rabada, Bumrah, Archer, Bolt, they're all in there. One solitary Yuzvendra Chahal, Michael. It's sort of a story that's been told from day one.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that list. And the reason I say that is for many years, T20 cricket, I've always felt that there's certain players that are obviously suited to certain formats, but the odd person would get a big deal in a T20 format because they brought something slightly different. Whether we're going away from that, and now if you look at that list, that is the best bowlers in the world formats. You look at Rabada, Bumrah, Archer, Trent, they are fantastic test match bowlers, fantastic bowlers in 50 over cricket. So what it's saying to me is you've just got to be high class to get in this list. And for a few years we saw a little bit of an Andrew Tye from Australia, Tymon Mills from England getting gigs, rightfully so at that stage. But I just wonder whether batsmen around the world are now working that style of bowler that more so, and it's the real quality, the real cream that's now kind of rising to the top. And I like to see that. I like to see real high-class quality players getting great opportunities and delivering, and that's why we're seeing, I think, in this year's IPL, particularly on some of these wickets, which they've not been easy. There've been some real flat pitches. You look at Sharjah, it's a postage stamp, and you've got to have a huge amount of skill to kind of bowl on that kind of surface. And I think it's not disrespecting players, but I think mediocrity this year has been found out. If you're an average bowler or not quite got the skill levels and you haven't quite achieved your kind of standard, you've disappeared out the park. Those that have really had a great IPL have been the real high quality bowlers, and that's why that list is as it is.
Joy, there are two possible points of view on this. One is, of course, the game is evolving. Two is these high-class bowlers that we've talked about, the Bolts, Bumrahs and Rabadas, are now being able to adapt more to the needs of this game. Which ideally?
Look, I think it's a combination of both. I mean, definitely they are quality bowlers are also. See, at one time, remember when the IPL actually started, when the tournament actually started 13 years back, a lot of guys thought this was a hit and a giggle. They came for fun. And it's only after the first couple of years that international stars started taking this format, T20, very seriously. It's not just about the money. These guys play for a lot of pride, and when they found the cricket was high standard, they adapted. Today, two things have happened. A top quality fast bowler says, Shami is a great example. Shami 2 years back was a very average T20 bowler. But now he realizes that, so many people watch the IPL, and why do cricketers also play? They play because they're proud of being top performers. He doesn't like getting hit around in the IPL. Today, Shami's adapted his game. He bowled brilliantly this year. The second thing that's happened, and I think that's interesting, as I remember the first few years of the IPL, getting video data, there was very little video data available about bowlers. So you could be a bit more of a surprise bowler. There was not that much analysis. You could be a bit more of a shock bowler, a clever bowler, bowlers, trick bowler, as I would say, and get away with it. Today, there's so much video, so much analysis that if you're a trick bowler in the Big Bash, it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, if Chris Green comes in, they know his slower ball, they know his variation, they know everything about him because they've analyzed him to death in the nets. What happens is, therefore, bowlers like that are being more and more found out. You can't have tricks that people haven't seen. Everything's out there for people to see. They've seen it, and they're going to respond to that. So I feel it's a combination of these guys coming to the party and those guys being found out together. Almost a combination of those.
And I also think, if you look at all those bowlers, I think if you went back 2 years and saw those bowlers, the different bowlers now to what they were 2 years ago. So they've brought different deliveries to the IPL. They've brought different slower balls, different variations, different angle changes, changes of pace. The high-class bowler just tells you can't just sit still. You can't just be the bowler. So next year or when the IPL starts in April, May, wherever it may be, they can't then deliver what they've delivered now. They'll have to achieve something slightly different because, as you say, Joy, the amount of data and information available to all these players and all the video technology that they can kind of assess to, if you're delivering what you're delivering now and expect to be successful in a week's time, in a year's time, you're going to get found out. And that's what I think those bowlers have done in particular. They've just added subtle changes to their game, which has made it so difficult for the batsmen.
You won't believe it, Gautam. They have, and this is 6 years back, so it must be even more common. We have a list of every bowler's tells. Tells as in, to tell which ball is coming. A guy that turns a little bow or turns his head to one side. So an analyst has a list of every bowler's tells which is given to the batsman, saying, if this guy is going to go slightly slow and lean to the left, this is what's going to happen. So that's the kind of data that was there 6 years back. You can imagine what it's saying.
Maybe, Joy, that's what they're doing, the bowlers. That they know that you're studying them that much, and they know that they're sending out signals, that they're bluffing you. They're creating the same signal but bowling different deliveries.
I absolutely believe that. I think it's an arms race. It keeps changing. They also change their delivery. They change their tells. It's a fabulous sub-story in the tournament, which is fantastic.